promo where you go, and the question isn't if we consummated the marriage, it's how many times.
Yes.
Okay. Is this just, are you riffing, you're feeling the audience and going for it?
I didn't even think about that line until I got out there, and I was like, oh, I got to say something about, consummating the marriage or whatever. Like, this is the worst. I'm talking to her dad. It's like the worst possible thing I can say. So,
does he react at all when you say, like, do you see an eyebrow raise or anything? Does
he reacts in the ring, but like, he's so good. And now, like, we're full on attitude era, like, where this is like, he's all in and he's full character. And I mean, so like, I know, like, as we're doing it, I'm like, this is so good. And like, he knows it's so good. It's just,
he is crazy. Now all the attention is on this storyline in the biz, or there's still other things.
There's other things going on.
But you're feeling it.
But this becomes a thing, and the sort of the McMahon Helmsley era becomes like the main crux of the story.
Right.
Like a fire McFoley, and I end up in a match with him, and then get him retired, and make him retire, and just all this stuff happens. But sort of at that point in time, this is how Steph and I get to know each other, because she's. Like, if I have a match, she just wants to be there to hear how it all gets put together and how that's all going to work and everything. So she's around all the time.
Right. And
what's a funny part of the story is, I'm talking to my mom one day on the phone, and she's like, what's going on with you and that Stephanie? I said, what are you talking about? And she's like, I don't know. Like, you're not that good of an actor. I can see it in your eye. Like, what's going on there? And I'm like, Mom, this is Vince's daughter. Like, fucking nothing's going on. Like, don't be crazy.
Presumptuous here,
right? I don't know this at the time, but Steph's mom says to her, like, what's the deal with you and Triple H?
Oh, wow.
And she's like, what are you talking about? It's one of the boys, nothing. And she's like, I don't know. I see it in your eyes, the way you're looking at him and stuff like that. Like, you sure there's not something that, like, my mom, her mom, both see it on TV, but neither one of us.
Dad got no clue.
No, but here's the thing is, Steph will say this and I say this. I believe he started to see it, and I believe he actually liked it and was trying to push us at that point. And then there comes a time when we do get together, and then there's a time where he takes that away, like it's going to cause too much problem in the business, and you guys can't. You can't see each other.
Even though you guys are already seeing each other at the time.
Yes.
So now the people know, do people know in the real world that you guys are seeing each other at this point?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact timing of it, but yeah, they're starting to sort of get it.
And then what's the storyline for tearing you guys apart?
Well, there isn't. We're still in a storyline together.
Right.
But he's just saying personally,
put the
on the outside, you guys can't do this.
And did you guys listen as good, obedient soldiers?
We tried, and then it just doesn't. Like when you want something, you just got to go get it, right? Yeah. And so we try. And I honestly think at that point, like, as you asked earlier, like, is he just saying this to try to see what you'll do? I believe there's
a lot
of that he was like, no, you guys can't see each other anymore.
Let's see if he really likes my daughter.
Let's see what he's willing to go through to get it.
Yeah.
And, for me at the time, I'm sort of gambling everything on, when people say like, oh, well, that's how he got to the position and all that shit. Like, nah, I'm gambling. If this doesn't work out, I'm fucked. I'm done. But at the same point in time, it's like, when you meet the right person,
you got to go for it.
You meet the right person. And it becomes this, it's just this crazy time. And so we're kind of doing this shit on TV, and and now everybody's attitude towards me is changing.
What do you mean?
I'm already sort of, I'm going to production meetings before this ever happens. I'm going to production meetings. I'm creative. I'm having creative input with Vince. People see me all day long. I'm with Pat Patterson talking over finishes and helping with their shit, which they don't necessarily see as a good or bad thing, but like they just see. So there's a lot of, whether it's jealousy or whatever that is, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Now when the rumor starts that, hey, he might be seeing Steph, that's a whole fucking different ball game of.
So you're saying other wrestlers were starting to get jealous?
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know if jealous is the right word, but I have a mega heat with everybody.
think the perception, if I'm an insecure entertainer, is, which I am, he's trying to weasel his way into.
I'm trying to get with Vince's daughter so I'm
that
the guy.
You can be the guy.
Wow. Okay, so you were a character, but how did you start having so much influence in the creative? Like, when did they tap you?
So,
and bring you in?
as I was saying a little bit ago, the guy that's going to leave, the creative guy that's going to leave. So at that point in time, I was already having, I was talking a lot with Vince. Sean and I would talk a lot with Vince on the phone about creative directions, and he'd ask our opinions about different things here and there. And so I already had that relationship. Sean gets hurt, goes away. Shortly thereafter, the other writer leaves. When he leaves, I go to Vince and say, I just remember the TV that we were at where that guy left that day. He just didn't show up that day. He goes work for WCW. And as we're getting ready to leave the show, I go to Vince and I say, hey, man, I know how hard this creative shit is. And when you're trying to do it by yourself with nobody to bounce shit off of, I can't imagine how hard that is. And he just left you high and dry. I said that we were done that show. I was going home for like 3 or 4 days. We would do like 18-day loops on the road or 10-day loops and then go home for 3 or 4 and then back out on the road for another 18 or whatever. So I was getting ready to leave to go home for like 3 or 4 days. And I said to Vince, I said, I know how difficult that's going to be. I said, I ain't got shit going on. I didn't have a girlfriend or whatever. I was just going home. And I said, if you need to bounce, I said, I don't, for whatever it's worth, if you need to bounce some ideas off of somebody, I'm going to be home. And I sort of almost was, after I left, I was like, kind of like, that was fucking stupid. I don't know. I should have said it to him. It was kind of embarrassing. Like he needs my fucking help.
Right.
But I said it and left. And then I went home and like, I don't know, it's like the next day or day after, something like that, home. My phone rings and it's his office and hey, Vince, like talk to you. And I get on the phone with him. He's like, hey, the other day you said if I needed to bounce some shit off somebody and, you were home. You got any time right now?
Wow.
And I was like, yeah.
What does he hit you with?
He just started hitting me with creative stuff. Hey, we're thinking about doing this in the show. And it wasn't my shit. It was just general creative. He was just asking me my opinion. And then...
But by this point, you've already proved to him that you look out for the business. You're trying to put other people on.
Yeah, I think so. And I think he also just sees like, for whatever reason, I have a knack for the creative.
You understand.
I see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And...
you are the game.
Yeah, I guess. And then, then shortly thereafter, he comes to me and he's like, hey, what do you think about coming to the production meetings at TV? Like when we get to TV, coming to the production meetings. And I was like, I mean, if you want me to. And he was like, yeah, look, it's a pain in the ass. Like call time for a talent might be 1 o'clock. Production meeting might be at 10 o'clock.
Yep. So now you're there all night.
We're coming from another town, right? So if I'm driving 5 hours from the other town to get to this town, now I got to be there at 10 a.m., not 1, right? So different world. He's like, I understand that'll be, tough, but man, I'd love to have your input in there. And I'm like, okay. So to me, like, I'm like, well, if he's opening that door, I'm not fucking turning that shit down.
Yeah.
So, I'd ride over to the next town with everybody. And then in the morning, I'd be like, hey guys, I got to be in the building early today. I'm going to go over there at 10 o'clock. They'd show up at 1. I'd already have been in the production meeting. So, and once Pat sees me now in the production meetings, I think at first they were like, why is he in here? And then once we all start to get into it, Vince is really good when he wanted to like include you in shit. So we'd be in the production meeting and he'd be like, what do you think? Me? Oh.
Do you remember the first thing you pitched?
I don't. But I'd just give my opinion or whatever. Yeah. And I'm sure I came across as fucking to everybody else egotistical. What the fuck does he know?
Right.
And probably said a bunch of really stupid shit, but it was enough for him to say like, he's contributing here. And then Pat started to sort of like, hey, let's, I got these finishes I got to go over. You could come help me with those.
Did it make you a better wrestler being involved in the production side?
Yeah, because all the shit that you just think about your side of it.
Yeah.
And then you don't think about all the other side of it and the things that, need to happen or how they're shot or camera angles or how they're thinking about this and really what's important. Oh, this is important. It's not even about me at that moment in time. I just need to be small over there and not be seen. That needs to be the big focus. Like you just think totally, it's a 360 approach.
Yeah.
As opposed to just your
allows
little
you to get
slice.
out of your own way.
Yeah, your little slice is different than all of it.